Hey everyone, welcome back to Unbiased Magic Reviews. Today's 5-minute magic review is going to center on Daniel Chard's card routine called Delete. For $10, you can pick up this 48-minute instructional download from Penguin Magic, where you will watch Daniel Chard perform the effect in front of live spectators. He then goes over detailed instruction on how to perform the effect. He teaches you a couple of moves along the way, such as the Erdnace color change, one-hand top palm, a tabled palm, and a floating double. Finally, he concludes the instruction by giving you some other ideas that you can use this concept for. Now, the card plot is very simple. A four of a kind is introduced. One by one, they vanish mysteriously, and then they are all brought back again. This plot most closely resembles Bill Goodwin's effect, The Queens, which you can find in the magazine Penumbra, issue number 8, if you don't have that. My initial impressions were that I was really surprised that this was trending in the number 3 position on Penguin Magic and that it only has positive reviews. The actual ad copy says brand new method, and this method is not new at all. In fact, using the gaff to vanish or change cards is extremely well known, and you can find it all throughout the literature. In fact, I could think of a routine myself, almost off the top of my head, by Jack Parker from his book 52 Memories, which was called Persistent Offenders, where he has a four of a kind, and one by one they vanish and reappear in the deck. The first vanish, he uses the exact same move that Daniel Chard is teaching you here. But luckily, Jack Parker has structured his routine so it doesn't use the same move over and over again. So I was disappointed to see that this routine by Daniel Chard uses the same move 4 times in a row. I really didn't like the structure of it, and what's even worse is that the last ace has to be vanished face down, which I think that's anticlimactic since the other 3 were vanished face up. The other thing I really didn't like about the download was that near the end of the download, he shows you how you can use this concept to do a cards across type phase. And then he says, well, and this is, I'm going to actually quote exactly what he says. He says, "It's not something I would use." That's his exact words. So why would you be teaching something that you yourself do not endorse? I really didn't think that was very good at all. In terms of the actual routine that you're going to learn, after you have the vanish of the 4 cards, he goes into this overproving sequence where he turns the deck face up to show the spectators that the aces are totally gone. And then afterwards, he reproduces them. So I think that the middle section where he goes over that overproving sequence, you really don't even need that. I think it's just overkill overall. So those are my basic thoughts. Some questions you may have is this. Difficulty, I would say this is like beginner level really. Although remember, you're doing the same move 4 times in a row. So if you don't have any proficiency with, like, for instance, doubles, then you may have a hard time with this routine. Is there a gaff in play? Yes, there is, and you probably have it at home. It's extremely well known. Is this an impromptu effect? No, because you need a gaff. Can you examine the deck? Can the spectator examine the deck? Well, they can examine the deck if you take the gaff out. If you can wring it out yourself, then yeah, then they can examine it themselves. What is my advice to you guys? My advice to you guys is this, is that you should stay away from this download, and instead, I would recommend you pick up Dan and Dave Buck's The Trilogy, because on disc 1 of the trilogy, they go over their handling of Bill Goodwin's The Queens, which just looks so much better. There's no gaffes in play. It is totally impromptu. You can do the effect with any deck of cards, and it looks crazy visual. Each of the queens or the aces or whatever 4 of a kind you want to use totally vanishes in a very visual way, and then they all come back in the end visually. And I would say that it's like intermediate level. It's not very difficult. So I would really recommend that you guys pick that up instead, and you're going to get much more value for your money. A lot of people are scared of Dan and Dave's magic. They say that it's like really advanced, and I'll tell you that there are some effects on the trilogy that will take a lot of practice to learn. But this effect, the Queens, actually is not that difficult to learn how to perform. So I'd recommend that you check that out. As always, guys, if you have any questions about this, please leave me a comment below. I would rate this 2 out of 5. And this has been another 5-minute magic review. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you on the next review.